Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 238. I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here rocking Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of the top 5 games in Zelda history right there. Big G is here. Wow. Happy too. I'm surprised he's not working. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about Big G's whereabouts lately, I'm sure, when it's his turn. Walter Cruz is there from Gotham City, and Jeff Meacham is there. As always, gentlemen, what's going on? Big G, what's up with you?
I'm doing pretty good. Work's been pretty good. Came back to Lev Fest. We were there from 10 to 4. That did my thing, helped set up, helped take pictures, helped take the money and stuff like that. And then I did my thing with my friend. Met Hacksaw Jim Duggan, met JR, met RVD, met Mark Henry, one of our indie girls that were there, Mila Grace. And I think Aaron's got a special video from a certain AEW superstar.
But I was thinking maybe to save it for later and make sure that people are tuning in.
All right,
well, we get our big number. Yeah, and then we get our peak numbers later on.
Beauty from Hacksaw Jim Duggan himself signed it. So, other than that, it was a good day. It was the 2 weeks ago was the 1 year anniversary of Parker Kane Promotions coming together. So it's been over a year, and we're still going strong. So other than that, I'm always happy to be here.
Nice. There's always this we. You got some stake in this thing?
Maybe.
Okay. I almost thought that was a bong. All right, Jeff Meacham, what's up?
Life is good, Virtue. Got New Japan watch along going on my channel right now. JJ's covering the production duties. Thank you, JJ. Noah and James calling the action for Resurgence, which is actually at the Pyramid at Long Beach. Gotta say Long Beach, Aaron. So had the money been there, I would have actually been there, but it is what it is. But I am happy, almost as happy as Big G is to be here, but not quite. Just because so hurting from the car accident. But I am always excited to be part of an NoDQ presentation. So
car accident.
Well, hey, we got our major topics for the week. It was kind of hard to come up with topics this week, but I think we all kind of came together and we put something together here for the NoDQ Galaxy. So we'll see how it goes. We got 5 opinions here, and plus the NoDQ chat. So it'll be another good show. Walter Cruz, what's up?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me again. I'm looking forward to this. I might have some things to say about some of these topics. Got a long week. We got prediction videos coming. So let's just jump right into it.
As we will, of course, over to Aaron Rift, and then we'll get started.
First thing, shout out to the Cleaver, Colin Andrew, who sent in $2. It says, much love, NoDQ family. Cheers to a great edition tonight. Much love to Colin Andrew, and hopefully soon I will be able to check out Colin's restaurant way out there near Cleveland, a little bit northeast of Cleveland. But if you guys want to know more about his restaurant, go contact him, nodq.com/Colin. Walter, do you have dinner over there? Speaking of food.
Yeah, my wife just sent it over just now, but
nice.
To quote
I'm not touching
TJS,
it because the screen.
to quote TJS, what you eating?
Rice, broccoli, and some plant-based chicken.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, look at you, Mr. Healthy.
Hey, I'm going to play with enchiladas later as soon as we get off the air here. So there you go.
Dave Scheffler sent in a $2 super chat. No comment, but thank you for that, Dave. Much appreciated. And as Big G said earlier, a certain AEW star that likes to rap about other people has a special message for everyone, courtesy of Big G. We are going to play that later on, so you'll have to stay tuned for this video. I might play it in the middle of this stream.
You never know.
So don't try to go to the end to watch it, because I might throw it up 20 minutes in, 40 minutes in. I haven't decided yet. You're just going to have to stay tuned and watch the whole video to hear from this certain AEW star that likes to rap. I watched the message already. It's very entertaining. So stay tuned for that. And I'm ready to go here, Virtue. Let's do it.
Big G bringing in the stars to NoDQ. You know, when we brought Big G in way back then, we knew he had something to offer, and he's paying off. I love it. All right, gentlemen.
I appreciate it.
First topic, heels on the rise. You know, I, of all people, love the element of a heel, riling up fans, you know, generating boos. You know, people talk about go away heat or whatever. Dude, if you're pissing people off and you want to see somebody either go away or have a baby face beat them to make them go away or whatever it is, that's awesome. And we've talked about MJF, you know, in the past. We've talked about Roman Reigns. But who are some heels in wrestling on the rise? And I think we're going to have a lot of the same answers here, but maybe the NoDQ chat will give me something that'll make me like think, oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a possibility. So Big G, since you haven't been on for a while, I want to start with you. You have some heels on the rise, and it could be any wrestling promotion that, you know, the internet's pretty much heard of most of these wrestlers. I'm sure you're going to mention. Who do you got?
The main one I think is on the rise and has potential later down on the road, especially now that he's on the Raw brand and can potentially challenge for the World Heavyweight title once he loses this certain title later down the road. Talking about Gunther, obviously. He's great in the ring. He's got in tremendous shape from when he started back in NXT UK back in 2020, I believe it was, or 2019. I can't remember the exact year. He came in, and you know, over there in the UK, they kind of cheered him because he was big in Europe and stuff like that. They knew him. Then he came down to NXT, and that's where he became more of a dominant heel. He's got Imperium with him. I kind of wish that Alexander Wolf didn't leave NXT in WWE because he was a great part of Imperium. It kind of sucks that his wife left too, Jenny, because she would have been awesome in Imperium too as a heel. But yeah, Gunther is on the rise, I believe. Dominik Mysterio is getting up there too. You know, he's getting that, I guess, Vicky Guerrero kind of heat every time. You know, remember how Vicky was always on the mic and she couldn't like really say anything because they kept on booing her. And you know, it's the same thing going on with Dominik. You know, and when Dominik first came in, he was a babyface. He was Rey Mysterio's son, and you know, people like, oh, you know, Dominik sucks. He can't do anything. He's should have started out NXT and whatnot. And now here he is with Judgment Day with, you know, I think the three best people that he can be with: Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. So I think those two will be on the rise. You know, I think we talked about this on open mic night, Jeff. I think me and you both agreed that MJF is kind of cooled down.
Yeah. And
so,
I don't think it's Max's fault. It's just, you know, the whole thing that went down in Chicago, and, you know, Punk, whatever the hell is going on with Punk, we'll talk about him later.
Right.
But I think the lack of like something visceral to grab onto storyline wise is hurting Max, not so much just Max, because Max is doing the same shtick and he's not been able to have somebody volley against him the caliber of CM Punk. So he's suffering as a result.
It's the cap of the title defenses
Gunther and Dominik Mysterio as the top as heels that are rising in WWE right now.
And Big G, like Dominik, right? I feel like if he wasn't in the faction and with Rhea Ripley, he wouldn't be getting the heat that he's getting.
No.
So hopefully he can take advantage of this and help himself out for the future, whether he has a group or doesn't. But I definitely agree with him. And Gunther, like, how perfect of a scenario is it for him? He's like a Triple H guy because of NXT being a wrestler, but he's that old school foreign, you know, group that Vince McMahon likes. So I think that he's in a good shape to get pushed because of, and he's gotten in great shape. And, you know, they've always kind of liked their top guys looking jacked if possible. So very obvious, but great ways to point them out right off the bat. I mean, I think those should have been the first couple of guys. Jeff, over to you now.
I like Jordan's comment about LA Knight. I've always been high on LA Knight since I saw him out here working with Paul, Percy Pringle. I think that if they would just let him not be, I guess, saddled or sandbagged with these kind of goofy things like with Boogs the other night, I think LA Knight will do way better than he is now. The other person, I'm sure he'll get mentioned again, but that one little moment with Solo Friday night where he got bumped into, and even Roman was like a little bit weary about what had he done, daring to bump into Solo Sikoa, even so slightly. So I think whenever that trigger is pulled and the bloodline does ultimately fall, Solo's going to get that monster Samoan push where he's just going to be more unstoppable than he already has been. In WWE, those are my two in WWE. But AEW, I think, is really going to have a lot to do with how the main event topic is presented if he does come back, and how Double or Nothing plays out. A lot of things are going to happen here the next 7 days or so in AEW, and then with Collision premiering. So WWE wise, LA Knight, I'm looking for more from him and from Solo. AEW, I'm going to really be paying attention on Sunday because I'm curious how it's all going to play out in Vegas.
LA Knight's one of those interesting ones where I think he could be a good heel, but ultimately fans are going to want to cheer him. So but that's not a bad thing if it's
no, it's
right.
not. Yeah, Sean Rickard, LA Knight, just got that charisma about him. He's a heel you love to hate, you love to hate like Max. It's except that Max doesn't shy away from the gimmick when he's off camera.
When they're entertaining, Jeff, though, it makes fans want to kind of cheer for him. That's the thing. A heel can be too entertaining sometimes.
Yes.
I was talking about this with somebody yesterday before we went on the air for Open Night. The NWO was a classic of that. Like they were the first really cool heels that embraced it. The Horsemen went out there and cut the promo, and they had people in the rows, doing the gimmick and the suits or whatever, but they still went out there and did these just evil things to Dusty and just like, oh yeah, they're the bad guys. NWO was like, yeah, cheer for us, buy our shit, please, whatever. So I think that LA Knight could fall in that category of too cool a heel, but he's not going to get that main event oomph like the NWO did.
Yeah.
At least
his is starting to become this generation's what?
Right?
What? Yeah.
Jeff, you also mentioned Solo. Paul Heyman aside, if you had to pick one member of the bloodline that fans don't typically like Roman's a heel, but fans like him because of this respect thing I was talking about. Usos, people like them with the storyline. Solo's that one guy I think is the true heel of the bloodline, so they could make something of that.
They really could, because if what's rumored is true and Solo's the one that drops Roman, man, the crowd's gonna turn on him and try to eat him alive, and he'll be like, "Yeah, go ahead." So it'll be cool.
Give him that Umaga push, that early Umaga push.
Yeah. All right,
that's
Walter.
That's instant star making, though. If
since you're already talking,
over Raw,
go ahead.
That's instant star making, though. If they do that with Solo, and he's the one to put down Roman. Like, that's what you do. I think everybody mentioned the ones I was going to take, but one, I think someone who really raised his stock after what he did over in Puerto Rico is Damian Priest. Yeah, I think people are sleeping on him. He really, really raised his stock with what he did with Bad Bunny. He seems to be a company man. I think he's going to go somewhere. And then with Gunther and Dom, like, I love Dom that he gives. I'm calling him Dom because that's what mommy calls him.
That's right.
But Walter, let me ask you this. Is he like one of those guys you're comfortable with saying right now that you like him, great heel, because of him being with Rhea Ripley? And there's so many fans that like Rhea Ripley, and she's like a heel, but it definitely helps it out because the jealousy factor, like, what a loser. He's with her. Like, those fans' fantasies are to be with Rhea Ripley.
It is.
But Dominik's character is, and that's a good WWE's playing that perfectly.
It's a good place to be, and you know where it's going to go because Rhea's eventually going to turn face. There's no denying it, and somebody's going to take her away from him or something. And that's where Dom's gonna have to like go get revenge and lose a couple matches, and then and then branch off on his own. There's no more mommy. Kind of like what Eddie in China had to go through. Like they're pretty much repeating it. If you see it, and then it's gonna go.
Yeah, I can see
in
it.
terms of
Eddie.
in terms of Gunther, Dom, I think is gonna. What I think, I'm gonna fantasy book a little bit. Dom's gonna get this Intercontinental title. Gunther's gonna break Honky Tonk Man's record. You're gonna get Dom that championship. Gunther's gonna win the Royal Rumble. He's going after that new title in WrestleMania. Timestamp.
Wow.
Wait. How Dom's gonna beat Gunther?
No, he's not gonna be the one to beat it. He's gonna
Okay.
eventually become Intercontinental champion, though.
I was
They're
gonna
gonna move
say,
him.
gee, that was a lot of
They're
shit
gonna
in
move
30
him.
seconds. Wait a
We're
minute.
putting the top two potential
No.
heels there. Okay.
They're gonna move him to Gunther's spot, and then Gunther's gonna move up to the world heavyweight champion. He's gonna win. He's gonna win that Royal Rumble, and he's gonna challenge. I don't want to give my prediction away, either AJ or Seth, because you got to keep that title on somebody to make it mean something. You got to give whoever that first champion is a long reign. So you have him have it all the way to WrestleMania, then he can lose it, and you make Gunther the star right there.
Who's
after
the-
lose the Royal Rumble?
Imperium, like the part I like about Imperium is the lackeys. Like who's the one guy?
You got Ludwig
Giovanni.
Kaiser.
Giovanni.
Is Ludwig Kaiser the one that does that English general and the weird voice? Like that's becoming a thing. Like he's starting to become. Aaron, who was that guy you liked with Miro? I'm already forgetting his name from way back.
Aiden
He did the
English.
singing.
Aiden
He's
English.
like not that like comical, but he's like that Aiden English where he's like you hear him and the fans are gonna start just booing him when they hear that. I don't know. I like those old school groups like that. Walter, anybody else?
Not anybody else, but you know what I love about Imperium? It's almost like it's part of it is the way they're announced. Like the way she pronounces their names.
Samantha
And
Irvin.
when she comes out, Samantha, it's almost like
the gimmick, the stance where they stand, the arms behind the back. That's how it's done, man.
It's
Hey,
almost
when
like
they say the mat is sacred, they mean the mat is sacred.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They 100% mean it.
How Pat McAfee got Shinsuke over and how he acts when he's announced is kind of how she's doing with Imperium. The way she pronounces their names is just perfect. It's almost like it's part of the package.
That is the one regret I have about Sam Irvin leaving SmackDown to go to Raw is that we won't have her announcing the Bloodline anymore because she did when she does the Intercontinental and the Undisputed. She's got it down already. She's so good.
The way she says Giovanni, it's like the way she does it is
right.
perfect.
They have to put the. Hey, remember Jeff? They have to put the couples together.
Okay. So then leave Ricochet's ass on SmackDown so we can have Sam announcing the Bloodline. Although her announcing Imperium, I'm okay with. That's totally fine.
You talk about being jealous of Dom and Rhea, and that's a fake relationship. Being jealous of Ricochet, how the hell did he get her?
He's a wrestler. He can
Do you
flip
remember
and
that
flop,
conversation?
All right, so no more Walter. Okay, and if you think of any, just chime in. All right, Aaron, over to you.
All right, we do have some super chats. I'll get to those real quick. First off, Dave Scheffler sent in $5. Thank you, Dave. He said he meant for his earlier super chat message to be Big G. How about Karen Jarrett? Love the recaps, guys. What about Karen Jarrett?
Okay.
What?
Damn.
You take that back right now.
He'd rather be in Karen Jarrett's spot. Oh, managing Jeff.
I would have finished that sentence.
Be
Oh my God, I finished that sentence. Damn it. Here we go.
I mean, if it gives her TV time, sure, why not?
She's got the right first name. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, 'cause she is a Karen.
She was the original Karen in wrestling before Chelsea and Sonya made it a thing. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Psycho
Anyway.
Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho. Says, remember when people thought Karrion Kross was going to be a major heel on the main roster, potentially feuding with Roman Reigns? Yeah.
Poor
Tribe
guy.
members, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
again,
Karrion
a lot
Kross
of
came
them.
back.
There's a lot of those, Aaron, unfortunately. And, but when you have a guy that's been champion for 994 days and only retained against 14 people, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Cross.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what I super chatted the other day? It was like his gimmick is reduced to tarot cards and who his next opponent is, and then he's just going to lose that feud. So it's amazing.
Yeah, he could have been a top heel for sure. But anyways, Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, LA Knight or Damian Priest for Money in the Bank? Well, definitely LA Knight for sure. And You know what, Walter, you made a great point about Damian Priest. I think people are definitely sleeping on him. He has the potential to be a top heel. You guys all made some great choices. Gunther is obviously going to be a top heel for a long time. Solo Sikoa for the short term, but like you said, he could end up facing Roman Reigns down the line and going babyface. Dominik Mysterio doing tremendous as a heel. There are some names that were not mentioned. We didn't have any women's wrestlers mentioned. What about Bianca Belair going heel? She got booted Backlash. Could be a nice change for her character to go heel.
Yeah,
Maybe go heel with the Street Profits. Street Profits have been doing the babyface routine for a while. Turn them heel, make them a top tag team against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, even though Street Profits are on SmackDown. But you know how things go with the brand split. They could always do trades or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And are the tag champs? I'm still confused. Are the tag champs appearing on both shows or just one show? Like
On both
I'm
shows.
assuming. I was so confused. I talked about it on our chat. I'm like,
Or both shows.
Rest in peace to the brand split already, because I don't get it.
Well, I guess the idea is that they're technically Raw, but since they're the tag champs, they can appear on both shows. If they drop the tag titles, then they're just staying on Raw. I presume that's the rule. But they
well, like I was
haven't
telling
released
Walter in
it.
the chat, I was like, remember they assume that we know that they're on both shows without having to tell us that they're on both shows.
Right. And as far as AEW goes, MJF's been a top heel, but feels like he's gotten a bit stale as of late. As far as potential future heels on the rise, like it's hard to say, but I'll tell you what, if they work things out, and we'll talk about him later, CM Punk going heel could be the heel in AEW. Like that's the way I would go. If CM Punk's coming back, enough of this goody two shoes BS with him. Let him go out there and be an a-hole. Like people are hating on the guy already, so let him go out there and be the absolute prick of all pricks. And I think that would be very entertaining. Logan Paul's
I wish
a great
they would
heel
let Miro
too.
do that. I wish they would do that with Miro.
Yeah,
That's
Logan Paul's
that's a
another
good
guy.
one. Yeah, he's just got that, because the internet fame and people like to hate that successful people that are cocky, and that's just typical. Bring that celebrity in, but the thing is, he is actually performing well. So, like, I think the fans are buying it, and they're not like he's not getting go away heat. He's getting good heat.
But you know what?
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, Braun Breaker. Somebody in the chat room. Yeah. But it ain't cocky if you back it up, right?
Yeah, that's Kid Rock.
As Kid Rock said, that one Royal Rumble year, whatever Royal Rumble year that was.
All right, we got a few more super chats here. Sean Garner sent in $5. Thank you. Says the Usos will get a huge pop once they turn on Roman Reigns, and we all know it's going to happen real soon, and will be babyface. But the question is, how soon? Is it coming up within the next couple weeks or months? Like that remains to be seen. But definitely, it's coming. And
if it doesn't happen in Saudi Arabia, it'll happen to cost him the title.
Yeah, very true.
The world title. Yeah.
Shanti is here, sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Shanti. Says, bald carrying Cross is better than current Cross. Let's not get carried away here.
Yeah, let's not cross things up here.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He's just not killer anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, and when they brought him back, I think the first week he came back, I forget who Bateman called, said Killer Cross, and then it was like, oh wait, no, back to carrying Cross. Like right away, it's like, okay, we're neutering him again. Cool.
Yeah, because he came and attacked McIntyre when he came back and was staring down Roman, and they missed that opportunity.
Yeah, it was so funny. They let him go. He got a buzz on the Indies. He made that appearance at the Flair card, and then he was back on WWE right away, and then nothing since then. Like
you just mentioned it, McIntyre can go heel and be a potential big heel. You just mentioned McIntyre. You make him heel when he comes back.
You got to get him his money first.
Yeah.
If that's the holdup, but you believe that shit when we actually see it for real. But
And regarding Bianca, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you. Says Bianca is the female John Cena. She ain't turning heel.
Yeah, JJ would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
He says that. He said that so many times.
If she goes heel, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh no, you're good.
If she goes heel, you got to get rid of the ponytail because it's like too associated with her. Change her hairstyle, maybe her and Montez Ford become a power couple or something, but
you know
it might
though?
be. She might be Cena.
She had the hair whip when she was a heel in NXT, and it worked for her because it was it could have been a unfair advantage. They just turned it into a babyface thing. All you do is just tweak the character just a little bit, and she can go back to the heel she was. It's just like you guys said, she's become that John Cena. Nobody's gonna beat her. She's gonna reign forever until she gets hurt or some stupid shit, and then it's okay. Well, now we have to do something.
Walter, go listen to her lyrics. Her lyrics are very heelish because that's what she had when she joined NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another guy we forgot to mention is Drew McIntyre coming back,
which we were talking about just a second ago.
Walter just touched on that.
Oh, well, then I missed it.
It went over. Aaron said, "Woo!"
Anyways,
to be fair, Aaron's trying to run the show. He's focused on a lot of things right now. So
True. Anyways, I think one way or another, we definitely need some more heels in WWE, especially on Raw. It feels like the heel side is really weak right now, although you do have Gunther. Other than him, I mean, you got The Miz. Judgment Day, they're doing well. So they're doing okay on heels, but I definitely think as far as main event heels go, like they can definitely step it up a little bit. But
not Austin Theory, just lost in the wasteland.
Yeah,
so he mentioned in the comments, and again, he had that big momentum because he had Vince. And then he beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and he ain't done shit.
Hey, he finally just mentioned that he beat Cena again on TV. Like, they went away for it for a while. They did, yeah. Mentioned it.
Yeah, it's kind of just, and again, heels across the board. I'll put it this way, Virtue. I don't know if you knew this stat or not. The Bloodline is no longer the top selling act in WWE anymore. Bad Bunny is.
Well,
yeah. Like, I get it. He's got that crossover appeal, but the fact that the Bloodline actually got knocked off the perch by anybody surprised me.
Well, Backlash was a week ago.
Well, I understand a couple weeks ago now, and I understand that, but even still, because the Bloodline, they've always got new stuff coming out on that chop zone for those guys. So the fact that they're not,
they've been knocked off before, and then they've made new shirts come out. They're back up to number one,
right?
And that happens. Like Bray Wyatt was winning for a while there when he first came back.
Yes,
Roman's got a new shirt too, doesn't he?
So he's got a new one with Paul, but they've got one now. It's kind of like a Goodfellas thing. It's got him and the Rikishi's boys all around him, like a Goodfellas. That's the shirt I'm going to get if I get a Bloodline shirt, because I actually like that one a lot. So,
all right, Aaron, any more super chats?
No, we are caught up now. The question is, should we play that video from the AEW star courtesy of Big G?
Make him wait.
It's not Jeff Jarrett. It's not Jeff Jarrett, but Big G did come through with a pretty big AEW star.
I mean, it's up to you.
Message.
We can, and if you want to get one more topic,
guys?
in.
Make him
wait.
What
do you think, chat room? Should we do it right now?
Make him wait.
Make him tune in. Make him stay tuned in.
Make him wait for it.
All right. So give me the thumbs up or thumbs down if I should play it now, everybody.
They're not going to answer quick enough. We're going to have dead air.
Okay, so
you got a super chat. You got a super chat there. Kill some time with that.
There we go.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says, I feared the Bloodline petering out like the NWO. Well, hopefully not. I mean, that would really suck.
I mean,
if
it's
it did.
kind of went a long time already, and doesn't really feel like it's petering out.
I think the
LWO would do that more than Bloodline. LWO would do that.
Yeah, I think the difference. That's funny. No, not their studio anymore. It's mine now. But and I'd fire Kevin anyway. Damn shaky camera bullshit would make me have issues. The thing with the NWO is that they kept adding people in that just watered it down. The Bloodline, with the exception of Sammy, has been the Usos, the Anawahis. So as long as they keep it within the family and the storyline progresses organically like it has been, we're okay.
All right. So, Jeff's at the control center, by the way, back in the old WWF era, early 90s.
Aaron, I don't see we're going to wait. Let's do it just before the main event. That'll lead into our topic where we're going to talk about CM Punk. So let's get the Cody Rhodes. We haven't really focused too much on Cody Rhodes by himself without associating him with Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. So let's talk about Cody Rhodes. And when he took a gamble on himself when he left WWE. We didn't, to do the indies, ultimately went to Japan, and ultimately was one of those guys that helped start up AEW with Tony Khan, and he was an EVP. And, it's interesting how we're going to be talking about the whole Punk situation, the EVPs, the Bucks, Omega, and all that later on. And could that have been writing on the wall with Cody leaving that, hey, maybe that wasn't the greatest scenario, because he left being an EVP of a company, still getting booked fairly decently, he was on a show, whatever that reality show was he was on over there on TNT or TBS. And he gave all that up and to go back to WWE. And granted, he's been pushed pretty well, hasn't won that title yet. But was this really a good move? Do you think he could have stayed and power played in AEW? Could he have made AEW better if he stayed? Or is this the right move? Is his roots in WWE try to do what his dad could never do with WWE? Jeff Meacham, I'm going to start with you. Remember, he did gamble on himself, so I wouldn't say him when he left WWE the first time. I wouldn't say leaving AEW back to WWE was gambling on himself again, but look what he had. I mean, he was, he had a little bit of stroke there, and he came back to the land of WWE where they do what they want with you. And he did technically lose to Roman Reigns already. What's your thoughts on Cody Rhodes here, Jeff?
I think the biggest thing with Cody is that we lost him for the second half of the year last year because of the injury. I think if he'd stuck around, it probably would have been a completely different played out scenario. He came back against Seth. I think the program with Seth would have ended with him still winning 3 straight, and then he would have gone to a program maybe with Roman by now, and maybe we wouldn't be having this 1,000-day conversation, or at least it would have been a stronger case for him going into Mania. He just came back at the Rumble. It almost felt like they were like making us have to, okay, well, Cody has to win. He's got to finish the story. And like, we got caught up in that rhetoric and that hype about him having to be the champion at WrestleMania, that when Sami and Kevin won, it's like, okay, well, God, now it really has to happen. It's like, no, it doesn't, guys. We just got to be patient. I think patience is still the key with Cody. I think him leaving for AEW to take a chance on himself, go all in on him and his friends doing what they did for a couple years was a gamble. I think coming back was a bigger gamble, just not, as you said, Virtue, on his own self, because he's at the whim of, at first, Vince, and now, if you believe what we were told, Hunter's creative. I still stand firm on, let's get through Money in the Bank and the SmackDown at the Garden afterwards before we really start saying Cody's story is screwed.
And even, granted that he didn't win it at WrestleMania. Yeah. I mean, he left AEW as an EVP to headline WrestleMania within basically a year. Yeah. So and it's a success. I mean, and just the fact that him leaving WWE when he was being relegated to Stardust and that stuff.
Right.
And he built his name and he made WWE want him back to be a main eventer. Yeah. No matter how well he could have been booked as the world champion, it could have been a whole Jeff Jarrett scenario,
right?
Over in AEW and an EVP, and he was the guy.
Yeah.
And I still think that he probably would have still left when he had this opportunity, knowing WWE wanted him to push him. So Cody's whole story from leaving WWE to coming back, I mean, I don't think anything would have stopped it, even if he was a higher level at AEW than he really was. And I think that was done purposely because he didn't want to be one of those like, oh, they're going to boo me because I'm booked as the world champion.
The bottom line is, Virtue, if you look at the other EVPs in the company right now and what they are thought of by the majority of the fans because of what went down last year.
Yeah.
Cody got out of there before it got crazy.
That was brilliant. Like he knew, he knew. I mean, that tells the story.
Had that foresight, right? He did.
Yeah. He probably foresaw this.
We got to move on. Like, we'll come back to you if you have anything else. But Walter, I'm going over to you next on this topic.
Yeah, I think he did the right thing. He did the right thing. He went away and he raised his stock, and then he came back when everybody wanted him, when everybody was cheering him. But he got himself stuck by losing that match with Jericho. So I don't think staying in AEW would have done anything. He would have never been able to be the world champion. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of storyline way they could have came up with that made him be able to challenge Well, but I think that was a stupid stipulation to do in the first place because
Wait, who did
you
he
never
lose
know what
to?
the
Was it
future.
MJF or
Jericho?
Where he couldn't?
Jericho, I think.
Okay.
Jericho.
Yeah,
Like to make that, you don't know where your career is gonna go. You don't know the future. So to definitively say never ever can challenge the title. Like usually you avoid that by saying, "Wow, such and such is the champ. You can't challenge again." But they were like, ever, and so it kind of like defining that the writing was on the wall. He saw this coming, all this EVP bull crap that was happening. I still stand that you should not be an active wrestler and EVP. Choose one or the other. You can't do both. You just can't. It's not fair. It's stupid. That what happened is what happened. So Cody Rhodes' stock, he came back. We missed him, and I think even getting injured helped his stock even more. It made us miss him, and we knew we were coming back, and it got into this. I mean, the plan probably was eventually make him a main event and go to the title anyways. But I think once he got hurt and he came back and they saw the reaction, they pushed him into it faster. So, like, everything he did came right in place. It fell in place. If you think about it, he came back right in time. I saw a thing that said Cody shouldn't have won the Rumble. Who would have won it? Like, I don't think anybody – usually you see somebody having momentum right before the Royal Rumble, and you're like, okay, that person's going to win the Royal Rumble. But besides Cody, who the hell was getting anywhere near it? Like, it would have been weird. Like, there was, like, this Royal Rumble was too – it had to be Cody. Like, who else could it have been?
Hey, Walter, he shouldn't have won it as number 30. He should have been number 19 or something like that.
Like 17 or whatever.
If I had to nitpick, that would have been the only thing. I didn't mind.
Me too.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I do too. So I think all in all, it came out the right way, and good for him. Sometimes you got to bet on yourself.
Big G, he could have stayed in AEW and pulled his power cards or pulled the kind of crap the Bucks are pulling now, and he didn't. He left. I mean, he had friends there. Like, it's not like he was like buried there. I know the fans were kind of starting to boo him or whatever. He could have played a good heel if he wanted to.
Oh yeah,
but I think that was smart on him. What do you think?
Yeah, and Cody and the Bucks and Omega, they bet on themselves at All In, and AEW came around, and Cody was doing good in AEW for like the first year or so, and then you had the TNT title come and play, and that became a whole thing, and like you said, the whole backstage EVP stuff. There could have been backstage drama going on even before he left, and he was like, well, I don't want to deal with this, and WWE was maybe he was wanting to go to WWE. Eventually, some people want to go back to WWE to end their career on a good note. They want to end it on their note, I should say. So, he wanted people to forget the whole Stardust thing and stuff like that. And, came back to WWE, had the great trilogy with Seth. He got hurt, and then he did his whole promo thing for the Royal Rumble, won it, and that was great. So, we'll see what happens with Cody later down on the road. See where he goes after Lesnar on Sunday. We got Money on the Bank coming up too. So we'll see if he wins that and eventually win the title from Roman down the line. If not, it wouldn't be a bad thing if Cody didn't win the world title this year from Roman. So.
Jeff.
All
right.
I saw Carl's comment. I had to reply to it. And my train of thought just clearly went away.
Big G. Jericho was the guy I thought would have been back to WWE by now, not Cody Rhodes.
Right.
So that was, basically seems like Jericho might be the AEW rest of his career type guy, and Cody's back. And sometimes you never know. You never know what will happen based on what we talk about, and a few years later, it's something completely different. All right, Aaron, over to you. Don't know. I think some super chats came in as well.
Yep, we have a couple of super chats, so I'll get to those. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. He says, rumors are that Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the world title at WrestleMania 40. If Dwayne Johnson is coming back, Cody is not getting that match. He should win at SummerSlam. I agree with you 100% on that. I would like to see Cody win the title at SummerSlam, finish the story, or as JJ Williams mentioned, maybe at Madison Square Garden. Hell, if if Cody says he's cashing in at MSG, I might have to haul my ass over there.
I was going to say, Carl said Money in the Bank has to mean something this year. Money in the Bank, if Cody wins grabs that briefcase, wins that contract, he can name the stipulations as part of his calling his shot. He goes out on Raw, goes, Roman and I on Friday, no bloodline, none of this shit, just me and him. That's how he gets it done.
Yep.
Yeah, I might have to buy some tickets to that show.
I was going to say, the Garden is far enough for me where I'm not going to go, but I'll be happy for you guys that you do get to go, because that's going to be
it's only an hour. It's only an hour away from me.
There you go.
Well, Walter, we might have to meet up if that happens, because I will. If Cody Rhodes goes for the title, I am going for sure.
If it wasn't my mom's birthday on July 7th, I would go, to be honest with you. I'd find a way, but it's my mom's birthday. I can't miss that. I'll get in so much trouble.
And This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He was on the other week. Hope you're doing well, sir. He says, better return Drew McIntyre or Cody Rhodes, and rest in peace, superstar Billy Graham. Absolutely.
It's actually a good question.
Superstar. I will say Cody Rhodes, because Drew got the unfortunate situation with the pandemic. I think if Drew had won the title in Tampa with the full stadium of people, it could have been a whole different run for him. But unfortunately, things were the way they were. And Cody just had the epic return at WrestleMania, and he's been in the top tier matches. And, you know, it's still a work in progress here with Cody. He's got to finish the story. So
I was going to say, the story's still going for Cody. Drew's momentum just halted because of being pandemic champion and screeched to a bloody halt in Wales.
No, for sure.
Finish. That was awful. So
singing the whole Sweet Caroline kind of screwed him up.
God. I get hives still to this day.
He was even over.
I don't think they meant to show that on TV, and they kept.
I don't think so either. They just kept.
They didn't cut it off, and they're like, you know what? Let's just go with it.
He was the happiest main event loser I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God.
Yeah, he lost momentum, and then he gained it again with being with Sheamus in the banger after banger. He got a whole lot of momentum back, and then I don't know what the hell happened.
Now, whatever he got back, it was not going to surpass the Bloodline's momentum. That's the thing. Nobody's going to get the Bloodline momentum's gone except the Bloodline. They have to implode themselves because nobody else has been able to take them out in 3 years. So,
anyways, final thoughts on this. I think everybody made solid points here. And I think to sum it up, Cody 100% made the right move. He went from being kind of lost in the shuffle in AEW to going to WWE, being right there at WrestleMania, big return, and everything he's done from gutting it out through Hell in a Cell, winning the Royal Rumble, main eventing WrestleMania. He still has a lot more to come in his career. He's a top guy, top baby face. People aren't going to turn against him. Like they love doing the whoa every time he comes out there. I mean, they love Cody Rhodes. He's such a great promo, and he can easily get people behind him. So, 100% the right call for him. And certainly with the way things are going in AEW, I think it was a no-brainer for him to make the jump. Definitely the right call. On that note, we're caught up, and I guess, should we play that video now?
Go for it.
Play that funky video.
All right. We're going to be talking about our main event topic in just a moment, but first, a special message via Platinum Max Caster.
Yo, listen, it's the Platinum Playboy, best wrestler alive, Platinum Max here, part of the Acclaimed. I'm here with Big Baller G, with NoDQ, and we're about to do a rap on your asses. Yo, listen. Platinum doing a rap for NoDQ, a website whose fan base is only dudes. I don't even know if y'all really knew about me, but I need some positive reviews. So shout out to G and my man Virtue. If you shit on me, I'll have Danhausen curse you. Because the Acclaimed, we're the hottest thing in the game. There's NoDQ. And everybody loves the Acclaim. Now scissor me, bitch.
Is that so? That's gotta be just clipped on the internet. You already have that on YouTube where Aaron shares just that clip on NoDQ, because now you got to do that.
Oh, it's tremendous.
Get to work,
Jeff, I promise
Not out there.
JJ.
Yeah.
Next time I get a promo down, it'll be for the Jeff Meacham Network because
I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's okay. Hey, that was great, though. That was great.
Big Baller G is living up to his name. Big Baller G. With that, we are ready for the main event. So thank you, Max Caster, for that. We're going to talk the CM Punk AEW drama. And the Collision announcements has been, the initial announcement has already been done, and there's no word of Punk. We hear rumors, and where are we at with this, guys? Basically, this is speculation. We're giving our opinions on what maybe is happening or could happen. I don't think this is a thing that he's being held off for a big pop. I think there could still be some drama, some maybe – exactly what he wants on the table. The negotiations are still going back and forth. It could be the EVPs putting a stifle to this and Tony Khan not knowing what to do. But Walter Cruz, I'm going to start with you. To me, if you have CM Punk and you've paid him a lot of money and you had him for about a year and then you lost him because of an injury, you got to get some value back on that, man. And I'm telling you, if he never appears in AEW again, it's going to be the biggest drop ball in the history of wrestling by Tony Khan. And it's awful, but what's everybody's take on this right now from the information that we know? Are we still going to see Punk back soon? Walter Cruz, I will start with you. We always talk about Punk. Now we're making him a main subject because there's just drama all over the internet.
When you make an investment, you always want that return in that investment. And like you just said, if we never see Punk in AEW, you definitely screwed that investment up and you dropped the ball. But I think we'll see him again. And I think maybe Khan finally grew balls and this is all part of it. Like maybe they're all pulling one over on our eyes. We all think it's drama. But this is what they want because they want everybody to talk about it. They want everybody to do it. And maybe him coming back will be a surprise this time instead of pre-announcing it. And he pops out there and comes out of nowhere. No one expects it. Imagine the pop on that. Maybe he is part of this new show. Maybe he's not. But when he comes back, if you don't say anything and you pop it out and you pop him out of there out of nowhere, then you're going to want to keep tuning in every week. You'd be like, what are they going to do with him? What's going to happen? And I think Tony, you got to do something with the EVP. You got to have Omega Punk eventually at some point, whether it's Vegas, whether it's in Chicago, wherever you do it. But you do notice that the new show doesn't have a venue yet. So maybe they'll pop it up in Chicago. Maybe who knows? But if all of a sudden it's announced in Chicago, this is part of it. And then all of a sudden Punk might debut. So, might come back. So we never know. But I think this is all the rules. It's bullshit to get you to talk about him again. And then it's a ratings poll. Watch. He's going to come back. And then everything's going to be okay. I think the majority of people, except people like Warrior for many years, know how to put bullshit aside and put business first. And I think cooler heads will eventually prevail.
In WWE.
Yeah.
Walter.
Yeah, that's true.
With Punk. So if they, if Time or Warner, this media or whatever said, yeah, he's not affiliated with that show. Well, if they're still working out negotiations or there's still things that has to be worked out, they're going to say that so they can create a level playing field of no, he's not going to be part of that show. So there's no disappointment. But then if they work something out, he's going to be part. So of course a corporation's going to say that. I'm pretty sure he's still getting paid by Tony Khan. You got the diehard AEW fans that will say CM Punk is washed. I mean, dude, he's 45 years old, but yet people still talk about him. So you don't have to have him work every night as a wrestler. So when you tell me washed, if you're still creating buzz, you're not washed. I don't care. You don't have to work a great match. Look what Stone Cold did after his neck injury. None of his matches were that good, but it didn't matter.
Exactly.
That's where, all right.
He may be 45, but you got to remember he had 7 years away from doing this. He might have been doing other things, but nothing gets you prepared for a wrestling ring or in that shape than actually out there doing it. There's nothing you can compare it to. I know he was doing MMA training. It's not the same.
Those AEW people that the diehards that suckle at the Tony Khan teat, they secretly suckle at the CM Punk teat. They just don't want to admit that. So they're like in denial. So like when they say he's washed and this or that. Like in reality, they're the first group of people that's logging on to NoDQ.com when news hits about CM Punk. That's the beauty of CM Punk. Jeff Meacham, what do you think here?
Aaron, do me a favor and put the super chats up about the video before we get too far down the show, because those are just too damn good to let that hang there. Those are good.
The video about the Max Caster?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and said, Big G is more over than the No Limit Soldier.
That was my favorite one. But anyway, okay.
So we got one from Dr. Scorpio. He sent in $2.20. Thank you for that. Says, yo, listen, everybody loves No DQ by saying yes.
That's right. Absolutely.
Nice.
Thank you for that.
Okay. So on open mic night, we've kind of made a gentleman's agreement among the four core of us to not talk about this damn topic anymore until we find out what the hell's really going on. But I don't think I personally, there was a theory introduced last night after we got talking about it anyway, because we can't help our damn selves, that Punk may be introduced as, I don't know if they have like a Joker thing in the Owen tournament. This was mentioned briefly last night after you left, G. I would love it if he didn't show up in Chicago or Vegas just to piss everybody off. And then he shows up randomly as part of the Owen Hart tournament and somehow makes a stake in that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would just love it just because it would piss every single person in the T-Mobile Arena and every person in the United Center, just send them all sideways. People put a lot of stock in the fact that, Punk has to be part of Collision if it's going to. Why? Because he's the indicator of all things that are great in AEW? No. Because he's got the star power name? Yes, at this point I would say that. I think we're investing a lot of time and thought process in something that is going to continue to be fluid until we hear that music and we see that face, wherever it is. Are we being worked? Possibly. Virtue made a good point that nobody's really touched on in any discussion on any channel or anybody's columns or whatever. Just because Warner Media says he's not involved just means the negotiations haven't gone that far up the ladder of the chain of command to people in the corporate office.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, they want to protect themselves.
AEW doesn't have to confer with Warner Media or Warner Discovery like WCW had to do with AOL Time Warner TBS, because they don't own the company. So Warner may have no damn idea that Punk is actually still talking with Tony. We don't know that. So, and we don't know. They sure as hell aren't going to know. Or however, I'm trying to say. I just think that, like with the Cody story, it's a matter of patience. And today's wrestling fan Virtue is all about that instant gratification. They want what they want when they want it, and they want it now. And we're not getting it, and it's frustrating.
Hey, City, you don't know who's causing what, so you can't say that it's not him being a team player. You can't say him, not you, City by the Bay put that CM Punk needs to be a team player.
Like
How do you know he's not being it?
Yeah, like I said earlier, there was nobody in that room, in that dressing room, in that venue in Chicago, except for that poor dog that was in the right. Okay, nobody, everybody screwed up that night, but especially Tony.
All right, Jeff. Well, I mean, there you go. Big G, you want to add anything to this? You were there.
Not really. Everybody said what they needed to say. I'm just.
Let me ask you this: when you went to Rampage,
right?
Why did you go there? Would you have went there if CM Punk was in WWE? Would you have went to Chicago on the very first Rampage? If CM Punk was not rumored to be there.
Honestly, if it wasn't rumored for the CM Punk thing, we initially were supposed to go to SummerSlam in Vegas for SummerSlam / my bachelor party. But with the rumor of CM Punk being there, and I hadn't been to Chicago or Vegas, so would you go to WWE and have go to a good show with SummerSlam? I mean, Rampage was a good show too. Don't get me wrong, but just on the mere fact that CM Punk was supposed to show up in Chicago, right? Even about like 2 or 3 minutes before the show even started, Chicago was already on fire with the CM Punk chant.
Yep.
And as soon as it went on air, you guys heard it. I mean, I had never. I mean, I've been to AEW events. I've been to WWE events. I had never heard a loud of a pop as that for CM Punk.
No.
And him coming back as a heel would be great. That's what he needs to do. He was a great heel in WWE, as WWE champion for 434 days or whatever it was. He was a great heel. And he was gone for 7 years and he's 45 years old. Look at Shawn Michaels. His best part of the career was the second half of his career when he came back. For the most part.
No. All I was gonna say was the difference is Sean still wanted to be a part of it and still had the passion for it. I don't think Punk does.
I don't think Punk does. Well, there's got to be not as much as Sean, but there's got to be something left in him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come back at all, unless it was for the money.
Well, but again, you watch the interviews he did when he first came back. Looking forward to working with the young guys. Looking forward to this. He goes to freaking Brawl Out. I'm old. I'm tired. And I work with effing children.
Yeah, he said that in the promo when he came back. He's like, yeah, I can't wait to work with like the young guys like Darby Allin and like you said,
yeah.
And there's people that enjoy it, like that have been publicly that back up CM Punk, like FTR. So when I hear these reports saying most top guys or wrestlers would not want CM Punk to come back, yet the guy still, even if it was for 5 or 10 minutes, stood backstage at a WWE event. They don't allow that with toxic people, but yet he was back there allegedly. Okay, here's the thing. There's a few people in AEW wrestlers that are leaking their agendas out, and now the ones that don't want to work with CM Punk because he comes in and he is, in my opinion, the real elite of all elite wrestling. No longer is it the EVPs.
No,
and they hated that. They hated that, and they weren't smart enough to make business out of that. You can blame Punk to a degree. Well, Big G. You can blame Punk for he could have been the bigger man. He could have did things a little differently, and maybe then we could have got something on TV. But again, we don't know. Did he try that? And did he get so fed up like, oh, my God, I'm trying to be professional here. That's it. I'm just going to go out here and say whatever the hell I want. We just don't know.
No, we don't know. And Carl makes a point that he just had the time. I get not having time for the idiots, but my point in what I said was, nobody was in the right there again, except for that poor dog just got caught in the crossfire. Unfortunately, so stupid. A bunch of grown ass men acting like that, ridiculous. Poor dog gets hurt, but the EVPs not only were they involved, they shouldn't have been involved because it should have been Tony having the foresight or at least the reaction to go, okay, we're done here, instead of letting him keep on going. Number one. Number two, the EVP when the Bucks came back, nobody is going to convince me that using that Kansas song was anything but a straight shot to CM Punk's nuts. Okay, I mean, especially the chorus. I mean, they were completely shooting on to the point that once we started hearing the rumors of he's probably not coming back, it's not going to be a thing, they stopped using it. If you notice, Kenny comes out to his song, Bucks come out to their song now. There is no
when they're doing singles or tag matches, when it's the three of them, they come out to that song.
Well, but I'll bet you anything when they come out with Paige next week for the Anarchy in the Arena, they're not going to use that song. I'd put good money on that if I had good money to put on it. I don't know. This I agree with most of the chat. The Punk thing is just so done. Just either announce he's not coming back or bring him out in Vegas and just be done with it, because it's so silly that both shows I do on weekends are always tied up by this crap.
Some people think AEW was better without CM Punk.
I do.
Those are your diehard. I don't, because he brought more attention to them when they were faltering. It's Tony Khan that didn't know what to do with all of the egos. And that means that you didn't have anybody in place that knew how to deal with those egos. Jim Ross didn't care. Jim Ross is an announcer, get in, get out. He's not going to talent relation anything.
Nope, he's not.
But back in the day, Jim Ross would have been one of those guys that would have sat them all down in the room and said, this is what's happening. They don't have that in AEW. That's the problem.
And it's sad because you have like leaders back there. You have Jericho back there who's been in the business and who's probably dealt with this crap in WWE. And, it's
any day of the week, Jericho would have a big money match with CM Punk after all this, because Jericho knows.
That's why Tony needs that second person. He needs somebody to help him with more experience to run it.
Well, he needs to stop being a fan and a friend and needs to be a boss.
Good point. Anything else? That was a great point right there. You said it perfectly. Anything else you want to add, Big G?
Oh, that not really. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Like I said, yeah, it's at this point, like Jeff said, either have him come back or don't. It's hard for us to find topics, and we have to like rehash. And
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it gets his views on the review and stuff like that. But like at one point, we're just all gonna be fed up. Like we're gonna be fed up with it. So
It's been a year.
That would have never happened under Vince McMahon. And that's the thing. If there was any backstage drama or turmoil, Vince McMahon turned it into a storyline, and he made people work together.
Seriously.
Or they were gone.
Seriously, Richie, what was the first time we really heard about the backstage drama in great detail? Montreal. And the only reason we did is because the documentary cameras were back there. If the cameras weren't back there, we wouldn't have heard shit about that.
That's true. That's true. All right. Did everybody say their piece so far? I know we got to go to Aaron. Okay, Aaron.
Aaron's got
some super chats.
Yes, we have some super chats. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says the big dog Ace Steel has more power than Tony Khan.
If you believe the internet posts, he does right now.
Yeah. And Michael sent in a $5 super chat. Says it sucks that Vice is going bankrupt because we will never get a Dark Side of the Ring about the EVP versus CM Punk fight. Well, unless they get saved, somebody comes in and takes control financially, and they can keep going.
Right.
But yeah,
that would be a high rated one too if they did do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting if like legally people could talk about what happened and we could actually get a documentary about it. It would be fun to watch for sure. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you. Says Tony Khan needs Haku to lay down the law.
There you go. Call New Japan and get Haku in there. He'll lay everybody out and be like, all right, now what?
Not a bad idea. So anyways, Wednesday is going to be a very definitive day regarding the future of CM Punk. If they announce Chicago United Center, he's in. If they announce Daly's Place, he's out. And I think he's out for good if he's out. If he's not part of the first Collision show, I think that's the end of CM Punk and AEW. Now, the question is he worth the aggravation? Is he worth the trouble? The problem in AEW right now is that they're struggling domestically with ticket sales. And if you look at the numbers for Collision, they're not doing well. You can go on Ticketmaster and get really good seats for several of their shows, including the one in Hamilton. Not good numbers at all for these first Collision shows. They need all the help they can get right now. And CM Punk, whether you like him or hate him, he's a very polarizing figure. But when he's on television, it's never boring. He's out there. He gets a microphone. You're paying attention. You're watching. And I'll tell you this, if CM Punk was going to be on Collision in Chicago, I'd seriously consider going to the event. I've been to one AEW show, and that was in Detroit because it was 35 minutes away from me. But I have not traveled far for an AEW show. I would consider it for CM Punk. I was almost going to go to that 2021 one. And I wouldn't have done it if he wasn't there for sure. CM Punk is one of the few guys that I think does make a difference, but there's so many questions. Even if he does stick around, will there be another incident? How long before things blow up again? Like, we just don't know if he's worth the aggravation or not. But the fact that this is even a problem is a problem with AEW as a whole. The fact that they let things get to this point should not have happened in the first place. And like that comment said earlier, would not have happened under Vince McMahon's watch. If CM Punk is guilty of the things that people are accusing him of, he would have been fired on the spot. You're out. See you next time, buddy. But CM Punk's coming back now, and they're trying to do a brand split because of CM Punk, which seems absolutely insane. He should be working with the elite. Bottom line. Everybody should be working together, be professionals, and do some business. That's the bottom line. So Wednesday night, we'll see what happens.
CM Punk is such an important figure to AEW's future that Aaron can't commit to either recapping the first Collision or appearing, going to the show in person, which means he can't commit to being on our game night next month or doing a match game because he's like, I can't commit because I might be there. That's how important CM Punk is. He's missing match game on the Jeff Meacham Network because of damn CM Punk.
People can say what they want about Punk, but he knows how to keep his name out there.
Well, yeah.
And he's got so many. So, like, if he does come back, there's so many things he can do that'll work out right. Like, oh man, and we don't know. Like the anticipation of that first word out of his mouth, the direction that first promo would go, who would come out to feud with him. That would be some good stuff, man. I just can't believe so many business people can't get their minds wrapped in the same, ball and figure this damn thing out. It's insane to me.
Yeah. The only time a pull apart brawl would work, you get Punk to come out there. As soon as he goes to open his mouth, you get Omega to come out and you do a pull apart brawl right there. Yeah. Boom, those two, Omega and Punk. Just imagine it. Like even Aaron would like that. He hates pull apart brawls, but if you do that with these two, now you got something.
Yeah. If you do that at Collision and build toward that for Wembley, place will definitely sell out for sure.
I think so. I think that would put it over the edge if they did that match.
Yeah.
Aaron, any other super chats? Anything else you want to say on CM Punk? I mean, we're going to be talking about him again. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll be talking about him for quite some time, and I hope they work it out.
We like to give Roman Reigns a break once in a while here on NoDQ. So.
Well, next week I'm sure we'll be talking about Roman again as we talk about the fallout, and
it'll be Tuesday.
Tuesday night after the pay-per-view weekend. So that'll be what date is that? Today's the 21st, so 20th, 29th, 30th, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Sounds right.
30th.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I believe it's Tuesday the 30th will be the next NoDQ review. So yeah, fun show
it is,
tonight,
I'll be Tuesday the 29th, yeah.
It's the day after Memorial Day.
Yes.
All right, sounds good.
All right, are we ready to do our plugs?
Let's do it.
Let's go around the horn. Another great edition here of the NoDQ review. Big G, since you were happy to be here as always, brought Matt Kastler along. Go ahead, do your plugs.
And if you want to throw my socials up, yep, there you go. You can follow me at BigBallaG1988 on TikTok, NoDQ.com/BigBallaG on Twitter. And if you like that video, it's on my Twitter. Like it and retweet it. Let's make that shit go viral. And you can follow me at
NoDQ retweet it.
No,
I got sent it. I'm gonna upload it because I did the widescreen version of it.
Yeah, that's got to go on the NoDQ eyeball section there. Cool.
And that is it for me. So.
Thank you, Big G, as always. All right, Walter Cruz from Gotham City.
Hey, thanks for having me again. Simple plugs. I'm on Twitter, Walter Alex Cruz, right there, and then Cal Fire Farms is my Instagram.
67 followers. We got to get that up, guys. Follow Walter right now. If you're watching this.
He doesn't use Twitter that much.
Do it right now, or we'll have Max Caster rap on your ass.
Exactly.
Hey, he's got 68 on Instagram. He's almost one follow away from being nice on Instagram. So there you go. So make it happen, guys. Make it happen.
Yeah, follow that man right now.
Follow this man. Do it.
All right,
do it.
Thank you, Walter. All right, Jeff Meacham.
All right, I'll be quick. It looks like a lot. It's not, because follow the Jeff Meacham Network on YouTube for all of our upcoming watch alongs. We actually have one right now for New Japan Resurgence. It's happening right now in Long Beach. Friday night, Impact Wrestling. Saturday night, I did that graphic wrong. That's okay. Saturday night, Night of Champions, or Saturday morning, because WWE hates us. We're going to go to Saudi Arabia. And then we're covering Double or Nothing Sunday. But you can follow those 4 YouTube channels at Jeff Meacham, at Akatsuki Studios, at NFoster1916, and at JHebert95 for all the coverage.
Thank you for being on. And, of course, over there in Rift. And a couple super chats snuck back in there. I don't know if this is after dark or not, but.
And just real quick regarding this comment, I'm not even familiar with those other games. Like, I wasn't aware that Street Fighter and Final Fantasy games were still being made. So
I didn't either. I had no idea. Wow.
I don't think, again, it's a niche audience. Like, they're going to buy the game.
Street Fighter's coming out. Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat all this year. Fighting game one.
Aaron's a Nintendo
Anybody that
fan.
wants an AEW game is going to buy one. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think other games being released will have any effect whatsoever.
No.
And Carl sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Carl. Says, great stream, everyone. Much appreciated. Much love to Carl. And
I think we're staying up late, Carl. It's late back there
much love to Psycho Jet Black, who's back this week, just giving us some fun comments. He says, Walter, are you excited for the Michael Keaton return? Is that Batman?
Yeah, he's going to be in the
Hell
Flash.
yeah, the Flash. He's
That's
in the
the only-
Flash movie.
That's
Hell
the only
yeah.
reason why I'm watching The Flash. That's
Yeah,
the only
exactly.
reason I'm watching The Flash.
The trailer they ran during Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for Flash that was a good trailer, man. I'm looking forward to Flash. I am.
They ran
As
a
soon as
long
he said,
trailer.
I'm Batman. I was like, oh, that brought me back to my childhood.
They ran a long set of trailers for Guardians. It was a half-hour trailer. It's like, fuck, what the
Oh
hell?
my god!
During John Wick,
Big
they
G.
ran a long trailer.
My dad knows nothing about some of these comic book characters other than like Superman, Batman. He thought the Flash was a guy that flashed his junk.
Actually,
like the Flash
Virtue,
either.
for our generation, people still think it's Flash. Flash Gordon. I'm like, no, not Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron.
All right. I thought you were going somewhere else with the flashing the junk comment, but we're not going to go there.
Oh, no.
No,
I just
no,
wanted
no,
to
no,
mention
no,
that's
no.
what my dad thinks of that character.
Yes.
That's what he did. All right, go ahead, Aaron.
All right. This guy Experience sent in $2, said, do you think Tony Khan is scared of CM Punk, Kenny, and the Young Bucks?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's intimidated, and he doesn't have the right person in there to be able to deal with him.
Yeah, he doesn't have that boss personality. He's a fan that happened to have a whole shit ton of money and bought himself a little company.
Yeah.
All right. So, Greg, to answer your question, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific will be Night of Champions predictions. Jeff, you're on for that, right?
I am on Tuesday. Yes, I will not be there Thursday because I will be at work, but I won't be working.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
And Thursday night will
Yes.
be the AEW Double or Nothing predictions at 8
You
o'clock
got-
Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Yeah, you have content every day this week, brother. The NoDQ is going to be a busy channel this week.
Except for Friday, I'm not doing the taped SmackDown.
Oh, you're not?
SmackDown's taped. Yeah. No,
Well, then
SmackDown's taped.
so that's why the graphic didn't go up because I botched that. My bad. I didn't know that.
So, Jeff, if you want to go on there, by all means, throw something up there.
You know what? I'll go ahead and do Talk Wrestling on Friday then. Oh wait, no,
There you
Friday
go.
night. No, Friday night I'm doing Under Siege coverage, but I'll do Talk Wrestling for NoDQ.
There you go.
There we go.
Jeff Meacham's going to fill in, maybe talk about SmackDown, maybe not. Talk about what you want.
Well, it'll be I'll go live at some point on Friday. I'll make the announcement tomorrow because I got to think about my schedule, but I'll be there.
All right. Sounds good. We'll
Cool.
plug it. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says Tony the Tiger has more backbone than Tony Khan.
Tony the Tiger is great. Had a great voice too. So
Yeah, Tony Khan, his voice can be a little bit of a turnoff for some people when he's out there talking about how thankful he is for everybody
Oh
coming
yeah,
out.
you get the experience that at Dynamite.
Yeah, he's like stomping his foot on the ground.
Oh God!
Tony-
Go away.
Tony should have did how Vince used to do it, and he was like backstage. No one knew Vince owned the company. Like, don't put your face out there. Like, for a long time, people didn't know about Vince. They thought he was just a commentator.
Tony goes out there and like gloats. Tony goes out there and gloats.
He does, and it's like, dude, we're happy for you. We're happy the company did well tonight, but dude, take a look around you, brother. Understand your surroundings. You're in a fucking Shark Tank, brother.
Hey,
Like,
Big G, what kind of reaction did Tony get at your shows? Because when I was there, like he got a huge mixed reaction, like a lot of cheers, but
LA
a lot
too.
of boos too.
LA
He
too.
got cheered. Every time he comes to Baltimore, he got cheered.
Okay.
And
all right.
So-
he got the Tony chance.
See, he got cheered in June last year at the first show, but that was before Punk got hurt and then came back and did the brawl out thing. He came out in LA this time. Oh my God, the Forum ate him alive. I was like,
Wow.
oh God, yeah.
Because he didn't handle the Punk situation right. They're booing.
didn't?
That's why
Oh.
there's a bunch of people pissed at him.
I'm
Yep.
trying to think who can he bring in? Like, he needs somebody in there to just handle everybody. I mean, that Haku comment was a good one.
It's funny, but it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but the thing is, they don't have anybody at the corporate level to do that, and they don't have an Undertaker to be at the girl position going.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Until they get that, it's gonna be the inmates running the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So
or the EVPs.
I'm looking forward to Dynamite this week just to
Yes.
see what happens and what the announcement is
Yeah.
for that collision, because that's going to be very telling about what the future holds for CM Punk. Anyways, we'll see you guys then. Virtue, we can wrap it up.
Go to nodq.com/merch and check out all the good merch. Follow me on Twitter if you dare at NoDQ_virtue, where I might call you a criminal because it's a gimmick for me, and it's Twitter, But that's it. This has been the NoDQ review number 238 for Aaron Rift, for Big Ballin' G, for Walter Cruz, for Jeff Meacham, for everybody that's normally on, like once in a while, Robbie Weiss, Colin, Andrew, Jargo, and the whole crew. And for Max Caster, thank you for watching, everybody. Good night.